The family of Brian Sicknick walked by McConnell and Kevin McCarthy at the Congressional Gold Medal ceremony and walked by their extended hands. Here's the video. They shook Chuck Schumer's hand, and then they got to the Republican leaders there in either chamber and simply nodded and walked by without shaking. You see there McConnell's hand extended.
Wow, that sends a, I would say, loud message. CNN congressional correspondent Jessica Dean is on Capitol Hill. So Jessica, what happened at the event?
Yeah, it certainly does send a strong message, Victor and Allison, and really the video tells you the whole story. You see them walking there, talking with House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and House Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, shaking their hand, and then just walking by House Minority Leader Mitch McConnell and Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell and House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, and not shaking their hand. And CNN did talk with Brian Sicknick's mother shortly after that ceremony and asked her what was behind that decision, and she told us, she said, and this was her quote, that she thought they were two-faced. She said that they say they support Capitol Police, but then they go to Mar-a-Lago and, quote, kiss the ring. And I think it's worth noting that McCarthy has been down to Mar-a-Lago several times since then. McConnell, who did not vote to impeach former President Trump over those actions, has condoned those actions and spoken out very strongly against them after all of that unfolded. But that was quite a moment to witness during that ceremony today. And again, just to zoom out to the bigger picture, this is the highest honor that Congress can bestow on anyone, and they are bestowing it on the Capitol Police Department officers and the Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police officers, who, of course, did everything they can to everything they could to defend the Capitol on January 6th. I'll let you listen to a little bit from Pelosi and Schumer.
On the day democracy faced maximum danger, these public servants responded with maximum valor. Today, we are here to say thank you, thank God for you.
The sound of blood-curdling screams, the smell of gas and smoke, all remain raw. Yet that day, the Capitol Police, the Metropolitan Police, and additional agencies bravely threw themselves between us and violence. And may I thank the National Guard for continuing that protection.
And again, those Capitol Police officers coming back to work, we see them here in the halls, Victor and Allison, every day, just doing their job. For a lot of those Metropolitan Police officers, those are the ones that serve the Washington, D.C. area. This was maybe their first time back in the Capitol since that day. And you can imagine just how heavy the emotion was in that room.
All right, Jessica Dean for us there on Capitol Hill. Thank you. With us now is CNN law enforcement analyst and former D.C. Metro police officer Michael Fanone. He was dragged and beaten by rioters while defending the Capitol on January 6th. He's the author of Hold the Line, The Insurrection and One Cop's Battle for America's Soul. Michael, good to see you again. This was not your first time back on Capitol Hill. You've been there for the January 6th hearings, but what was it like to be in that room today? Your reception and how you received what you heard?
It was bittersweet. In a lot of ways, I feel like I've carried this burden for the past 2 years in which I have been consistently advocating for acknowledgement on behalf of my fellow officers, those of us who responded to the Capitol on January 6th. And as a result of that, have received a lot of praise and a lot of recognition for my actions. And so for me, this was an opportunity to share that appreciation with members of my former department, as well as the United States Capitol Police, to show them how much America appreciates what they did that day.
And Michael, what was their response, number one? And number two, we're looking at a picture of you. It's a sweet photo of you and Speaker Pelosi. She's sort of hugging you or rubbing your cheek. What was that moment?
I mean, it's Nancy Pelosi, Madam Speaker, has been a very good friend to me and to my family. She has supported me relentlessly almost since my very first interview back in January of 2021. She's a wonderful person, and I'm very grateful for her friendship.
We heard from, just a few moments ago, from Chuck Schumer. We also heard from, at this ceremony, from the minority leader in the House, Kevin McCarthy. Let's play a bit of what he said.
These brave men and women are heroes. Heroes who protected so many from harm on that day. Heroes who live out the code to protect and serve. Heroes who do the noble work. Too many people take that for granted. But days like today force us to realize how much we owe that thin blue line.
We saw Brian Sicknick's mother and her reaction to Kevin McCarthy. What did you think of what you heard from McCarthy?
Well, first, I was surprised, actually, that Kevin McCarthy showed up. I thought that he would be busy trying to figure out how he could suspend the Constitution on behalf of former President Trump. That being said, I mean, those words ring hollow to me. You know, that ceremony happened in spite of Kevin McCarthy and Mitch McConnell, not because of them. And so the fact that they got to go there and speak words, I mean, they were meaningless. But I understand that, you know, for the optics of the moment, they could not be absent, because then we'd be asking, well, where the hell were they?
Michael, you talked about the reception that you got today. Were you heckled by some of your fellow officers or former officers?
I was.
Why?
It's unfortunate. I mean, listen, I think that people misunderstand why it was that I spoke out in the first place. And like I said before, in having done so, having left the department, taken a job here at CNN, I mean, I get a lot of attention. But make no mistake about it, my purpose for speaking out was because, or not because of what I did on January 6th. It wasn't even because of what I experienced personally on January 6th. It was because the things that I observed were so inspiring. The officers who I observed fighting alongside of me in the tunnel were so inspiring that I was willing to sacrifice my career and even my personal safety. And this has come at great personal cost to me. I think everyone knows that. To get those officers recognized. And so in a way, for me, you know, this is at least the end of that task. Now I can move on to focusing solely on accountability for those responsible for the January 6th attack.
Michael, you referred to this a minute ago. What do you think of former President Trump announcing in black and white, in his own words, that he wanted to terminate rules, regulations, and articles in the Constitution?
Yeah, I said it before. I'm going to say it again. On January 6, 2021, Donald Trump declared war on America. Not figuratively, he did it literally. He amassed an army and he sent them to attack the Capitol building on the day in which Congress was charged with certifying the election. Donald Trump is a clear and present danger to this country and to our democracy. And I think that Americans need to wake up and they need to choose which side they are on.
Michael Fanone, we thank you for your work that day, January 6th, and we thank you for your time today. Thank you.
Thanks, Michael.
Thank you.